Hi, my name is Erin. I use she, her pronouns, and I am
Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. I love these videos. They're probably my least viewed of all the videos I do, but I'm going to keep doing them because I love these stories, because it shows men playing the game as well as anybody else and beating the stupid people at their own games. And if you're going to play this game, guys are going to figure it out. I'm sure some women, if they could, would figure it out. But guys are going to figure it out. So we have Ryan Webb, who's a conservative, or at least Republican, Indiana councilman, coming out as a proud gay woman of color. Now, this has all the activists all angry. They're all up in arms saying, how dare he? But I thought we were supposed to accept anybody for what they said. And when they say that they're a woman, well, what's the matter with that? Now, he came out saying he has some Indian in him. I don't know if they meant native Indian, but probably, and he probably did a test, and he has 0.01%, which is more than Elizabeth Warren. But politics aside, the best part about this is even the news has to report this seriously, because if they don't, they could get a lot of trouble for not being supportive of someone that is now a newly found member of the LDHD TV community. So let's give a listen to the news report. Let me make sure I have the volume up on this. And go.
A councilman is coming out as transgender and a woman of color. Delaware County Councilman Ryan Webb announced that he now identifies as an Indian American woman. Since that announcement, he's received some support, but a lot of backlash, many calling him childish, despicable, even calling for things like execution. In a statement Webb gave to ITMate, he says, quote, "It is unfortunate that I cannot simply be given the same space and respect to explore my identity that so many of those targeting me demand for themselves. It's possible I may change my mind down the road. The process of identity exploration is complex, and oftentimes at the end of our personal journey, we end right back where we started."
Now, let me just pause it here for a second. What's so great about this is the people that are supposedly we need to accept everybody and be all inclusive and love everybody for their choices, and guys can be guys and gals can be gals and gals can be guys and guys can be gals and back and forth and everything else. They're the ones that get to judge whether you're meaning that you're being serious or not. They're the ones that think that it's okay for up to them. It's up to them for them to judge if you're allowed into the community or not. Well, why is it they get to be the gatekeepers? I mean, nothing this guy said is any different than most Hollywood actors or musicians that have decided to do the same thing. Well, the difference is, I guess he's conservative or Republican, so he must not really mean it. The best part about this is the fact that a woman of color giving this announcement has to pretend like it's serious and read it like she's serious. And he even prepares for his eventual change of mind, where he says, I may change my mind down the road. It's complex, and oftentimes we end right back. It's complex, and oftentimes we end at the end of our personal journey. We end right back where we started from, which is a white, straight guy. This is playing the game against him. I think there's just a couple seconds left.
Webb goes on to tell ITMate this is just his true, authentic self.
There you go. It's just his true, authentic self. So I pulled up the story. This is from Human Events. And some of these words for YouTube we're going to have to remove because, YouTube. But he faces, people giving him, saying they're going to do bad things to him. They outed him, and they gave away his home address and are now, I guess, threatening his family. And done by the LDHD TV community activists. So much for being inclusive. I guess it's really not about how you identify, but you must have the same ideology and the same beliefs in all things, almost like a cult. Now, here's the best troll. Here's the best troll part. He says, until today, we did not have any women of color or LDHD TV +++ on the council. I'm glad that we now do. That's right. He's breaking glass ceilings. He's now the first woman of color on the council. He said, to avoid confusion, everybody can still address me as Ryan or Councilman Webb. I'll also retain my preferred pronouns of he, him. But it will no way diminish my true identity. And he says, and it's now possible for anyone can be anything or anyone they want. If he was serious, I'd sing his praises, Charlize Jameson said at the meeting. But instead, I know better. We all do. I know better because of his history of making anti-this statements. He's purposefully and intentionally gotten my gender wrong, ridiculing my own identity. That's not something we transitioning people do to one another, except they're doing it right now to him. I'm sorry, her. You see, now, because they don't believe it, now they're saying that he is not a her. Isn't that crazy how that works? When it was Webb's turn to address the community, which mostly consisted of outraged liberal white women.
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
Imagine my surprise. They were left shocked after they say he here, but it's not he, it's she now. Let's get this correct now. After she refused to bow down to the far left mob and slammed them for having the audacity to question her new identity. You don't get to question me. You do not get to require proof from me. You were part of the movement that helped establish these rules and set the bar, okay? You don't get to come later when someone else joins the club that you don't want in. You don't get to question how I identify, Webb said, according to the Muncie Star-Press. And here you see all the uptight liberal women with their arms crossed, very enraged because apparently they don't want her in the girls' club. They say he took the perfect leap into fight the culture war by geniusly using the left's own tactic against him. I don't know. I see nothing that states that he's not being serious or honest about this. I mean, according to him, he hasn't made any other statements. Why do I do stories like these? Why do I talk about this ridiculous, stupid stuff? Because it's using their own tactics against them. And then when they double speak and say, well, you're not really, well, that's what we've been saying. When people say that they're a man that's a woman or a woman that's a man, we say, you're not really. And they say, yes, I am. Okay, then I am too. No, you're not. Oh, it's like the Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Duck season, rabbit fever. Duck season, rabbit fever. Rabbit season, duck fever. Rabbit season. I say it's duck season, and I say fire.
It's the same kind of thing. It's they're saying, you need to believe me. Okay, I believe you. And I'm one too. And then they say, no, I don't believe you. Okay, then I don't believe you. It's playing the game right back at them. And then if he goes on with this, when the protesters are coming out, he's going to say, hey, they're attacking me, using their own tactics against them. And then they either have to, the whole narrative falls apart. And this is what we talk about so many times. They can't keep up with their own stupid rules. So they'll come up with certain rules of how long you need to identify a different way, and that you need to change your identification, and pretty soon they're going to make it almost as difficult to say that you are one as not. And that's the whole idea of the craziness. I like these stories because it uses their own dumb rules against them, and they won't be able to keep up with it. It'll end up working against their own cause because in the end, the truth always wins. And what I mean is that, yes, liars can get away with things and people can be dishonest, and they may win for a very long time. Some may even get away with it. But as a whole, this is too big a narrative and too much ridiculousness not to have some sort of sanity and truth finally come home. Now, will it come home before it destroys everything? Who knows? But again, doing things like this and pushing back on this is the best way to do it. Let's accelerate the craziness, accelerate the decline. So hopefully it's almost like a layer of clouds and we're in a jet flying above it. Let's get down through those clouds as quick as possible. Let's get back grounded, back down to sanity, so we're not floating in the clouds, blinded and going crazy, not knowing where we're going. We're pretending that radar doesn't exist in this case. Not knowing where we're going, we'll crash down next to grounded again, and then we'll see where things go. Either that or the financial crisis and the conflict between Russia or China or somebody else will make things to where we're short on food, we're short on supplies, maybe the banking industry start falling apart, and all of a sudden people are going to have a lot more time than this craziness, and that'll snap them back to reality where they say, look, I don't care about that crap anymore. I care about feeding my family. I care about having a job. I care about not sending my kids off to conflict. Maybe that's the way forward. I don't know. I apologize for having a hard time reading this today. I think I need new glasses. And I think my eyes are actually improving a little bit. And I don't know how that's possible. But I noticed the other day I was actually doing a lot more without my glasses. And this is actually a little bit easier to read without my glasses. So lots of carrots, I guess. Fresh air. Thanks for those of you that watched my earlier video where I posted it when I was out and about. Thanks for watching that. You know, I go through efforts to try to make nice thumbnails and put up good videos, and then I just throw something together with a stupid thumbnail of a picture of my hat that I take off my dashboard and type something on a picture and upload it, and a recording on my phone with no studio equipment, just talking into my phone mic, and I get, I don't know, about average views as usual. Makes me wonder what I go through all this craziness for. Guys, if you're over on YouTube or Rumble, please become a supporter today. I'm down a little bit in supporters over there. I think people come over and support for a little while and then maybe have other needs for their money, which is certainly understandable, or feel like, okay, I've given to his cause, I have other causes I want to give to, and they start giving to somebody else. That's certainly acceptable. But I'd really appreciate it if you came over, joined today. $5 a month, $50 a year if you do, which gives you like 2 months for free, less than a cup of coffee, and you get the forums. And you get the forums, and you get to have conversations with a bunch of like-minded people. And I really think it's one of the best corners of the internet to find some free speech out there. So I hope you become a supporter today. And that means I don't have to do stupid ad reads for junk. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next one.